Frankenstein.
You're putting me on.
No, it's pronounced Frankenstein.
Do you also say Froderick?
No, Frederick.
Well, why isn't it Froderick Frankenstein?
It isn't. It's Frederick Frankenstein.
I see.
You must be Igor.
No, it's pronounced Igor.
But they told me it was Igor.
Well, they were wrong then, weren't they?
Of course. I'm sure we'll get along splendidly. Oh, sorry. I don't mean to embarrass you, but I'm a rather brilliant surgeon. Perhaps I could help you with that hump.
What hump?
What time is it?
It's time for Rick and Spursy.
Hey, it's Wicked Spursy. Listen, tonight you got Mike and you got Nick. The Nicky Winks AI, new and improved AI. It took a break. We did some reprogramming. Steve hooked up the Python or whatever it is the fuck he does.
We're running on Linux now.
We're running on Linux, CC. It's become self-aware. So just be aware that anything can happen at any moment. Nicky Winks, how you doing, man?
I'm fantastic, man. It's really great to be back. I have missed you guys dearly. You're right. I have been reprogrammed. I've running a new operating system, not a popular one, but a new one nonetheless. But I'm, obviously happy to be back. We've, boy, a lot has happened with our beloved Spurs over the last week.
No shit, man. Before we get into it, I do want to kind of address something that's been like a hot button topic. I don't know if we've talked about it on this podcast at all. I thought Bad Bunny was fucking fantastic.
Loved it.
And even though I know there was an alternative halftime show at the Super Bowl, I can say that I was able to drink my beer and drive my truck, not one after the other, but I was able to do both of those things on that day. I wasn't able to mow my lawn because
2 feet of snow.
2 feet of fucking snow. But it is what it is. I got to do all those things that the alternative halftime show said that we weren't able to do in America anymore, which is great. I thought Bad Bunny was fucking fantastic. Little bit slow to start for me. I thought the intro was a little bit slow, but man, once they got going, man, holy shit. Like, and you know what? I didn't understand a fucking word of it, and man, was I bopping.
It was so fun.
I forgot that he had so many bangers though. Like I've heard almost every single one of those songs.
Yeah, it was yeah, I mean, Dios mío, mi amigo. Oy Papi Popovich.
There you go.
But it was great. Like I said, my little kids are 4.5, 1.5, and they are, instead of asking to watch Bluey or to watch Blippi or some of the other ones, now it's Bad Bunny. And I'm like, absolutely, let's crank that. So much so that Isla now on the way to skiing is always like, what can we listen to in the car? And I'm like, well, we can do Mumford and Sons, Bad Bunny. She's like, let's rock out to Bad Bunny. I'm like, oh my God, this child.
It's actually really cool when your kid gets it.
Yeah, it really is. And it beats the other music that I usually have to listen to in the car with kids. So I'll take it.
Listen, dude, I had to listen to like fucking 6 years of Kids Bop, 7 years of Kids Bop.
Yeah, we're not doing that. We just went straight to Bad Bunny.
Holy shit. Good for you. Good for you, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you had mentioned, a lot of things happened while we were, well, not a ton of things, but I mean some things.
The biggest of things could have.
Steve got his wish, you know.
He did.
Tommy Boy got the old Saccharino, and even it didn't even seem like he knew it was coming. Or maybe he was just paying lip service to the press, but
I got to imagine he was doing lip service. Like it's hard to think that you're that safe. If we were in like maybe 13th or 14th place, I would have said, you know what? He's probably
eking out a game or two here and there against the low level competition,
or a couple draws here and there. But I think his biggest, what did him in the most was he never connected with fans.
Yeah, I was going to say it's his inability to kind of like hit
the fans turned on him immediately. I don't know if they necessarily turned on him so much as they just never connected with him enough to turn on him. And that is that's a death sentence when you're in the Premier League and you've got the fan base that we have.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. I mean, the Tottenham fan base is they're fickle. They are short-tempered. They are lots of times unreasonable. And that's not to say that any of us are any different in that in any of those respects. I mean,
yeah,
we all have that same kind of stuff about us. So like when we're looking at the situation we're in, you know, one has to look at it like kind of reasonably and say it's probably time for this guy to go, because like a few weeks ago we were 9 points clear of relegation, and I actually said right on this podcast, we're probably pretty safe. You know, I mean, 9 points is a lot. And then West Ham decided that they were going to go ahead and catch some sort of form, you know. Even though we actually got lucky that they ended up drawing with United, with Man United. So
it was weird to root for United.
I was just rooting. I was rooting for that goal, but not any more than that.
Yeah, a draw was.
I wanted a draw because I wanted that stupid fucking idiot kid to continue to not have to cut his hair. Though I still say that he didn't really want to cut his hair, because if he cuts his hair, what does he got after that, man? His cash cow's gone.
Yeah, I hope he's really. Really. I mean, maybe he'll crank it up to 6 or 7 wins in a row after this, and depending on United and how they decide to move forward as well, because they've also got a bit of a caretaker situation with their manager.
Yeah. So we can either get into that, or we can address Ange's comments. I mean, let's we've started talking about Frank getting fired.
Yeah.
Let's just get right into the new manager, and let's just talk about it a little bit.
We can move on from Frank.
Yeah. So gonna dive head first into our biggest story, and like we said, we have a brand new manager, the appointment of Igor Tudor. Well, I'm gonna say Igor, it's more fun. As our head coach. For me, sorry about that. For me, it's a pretty fascinating hire. Just based on the fact that like he's like the fucking wolf in Pulp Fiction, right? He's a fixer, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of bold, it's risky, it's aggressive. For a team that the players never seemed to really connect with Thomas Frank, I think that this hire might be able to reshape Spurs that in a way we haven't seen in a long time. And we know that it is a caretaker situation because that's what he does.
That's his thing.
Yeah. He comes in and he fixes teams.
He's a good stabilizer. I mean, he did a good job of it with Juve and also Lazio, and it's
Udinese, right?
Yeah. But that's, I guess, my hope is that even if we hypothetically win out the season, like a magical run, which could see us even clinching like Conference League. Magical because of how tight everything is in the table.
Sure.
Like it's not out of reach. I I hope we don't keep him. I hope we find somebody that we really want to lead for the next 5 seasons.
I mean, you have to almost think Poch has already been.
Oh, it's already been decided that he's after Team USA loses in the fucking group stages, he's definitely coming over to. He's coming home.
I think it's Poch. I think they've probably already hired him.
They probably have. Yeah.
If they were smart, I mean, they would. I mean, it's what the fans want. For me, it's a little nerve-wracking, a little scary because I don't want him to ruin his legacy. But anyway, yeah. So Tudor's not one of these guys that's going to be a project manager, even though he's hired through June.
Yeah,
technically, so he will get the team past that spot into the summer, where we can start rebuilding this. Rebuilding the squad.
Yeah.
He's not going to be a culture guy. He's just kind of the steady the ship guy. Get us through this season, get us out of relegation. The thing with this guy that really, really worries me is that these players are not players that respond well to being told what to do. And this dude
he's rigid.
Yeah, man, he's
a rigid, very structured. I mean, at the same time, though, like we're not used to, and some of our players, they're not used to being in the position that we're in right now, which is survive. And we kind of can't dare to do right this second. We just have to do what he says.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and this guy is going to be I think he's going to bring back more of what maybe it's going to be like a hybrid between what we saw with Ange and what we had with Conte, right?
Yeah, I was going to say Conte, and then I wasn't going to
using the wing backs. Sometimes play 2 up front, which will be interesting because we don't really get to see that with Spurs that often.
No.
He likes to press high, so like his defenders sit at the center line, right?
Yeah, in that way, he's very much like Ange.
Yeah, they defend man to man. They overload the midfield, constantly overload the midfield. This is all shit that I'm getting out of like YouTube research and shit, but like
no, it's
I don't think there's
I ran my other versions of AI through to pull up as much as I could about him because he's definitely not a name that would have, I thought we were getting those English guys that we would have, bringing in those guys to, survive the relegation battle tested guys that have kept up West Ham historically or other places.
a fucking Big Sam.
Burkham, yeah. Like the joke that like their phones are always ready for like a team that's trying to stay up. But
yeah, and quite honestly, there were De Zerbi getting fired, right around that same time. So like it was a bad week for managers. A lot of managers got fired, right? So
yeah.
Dyche got fired, and thank God we didn't pick him up.
Dude, it's been a bad 2 or 3 months for managers if you're looking at the bigger picture of the league and Europe in general with, Xabi Alonso getting fired. What's his name over Maresca over at Chelsea getting fired.
There were managers out there.
Oh,
but
yeah.
This is why I really think that when they made this hire, it's obviously become really apparent that Poch is coming back. I mean, that's and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Ozzy and all the others like in London, like hanging out and getting dinner together. It's like they're bringing back Dad.
Yeah. So like,
which I have mixed feelings about, as I know you do as well.
I guess with Poch, like, I don't want him to ruin his legacy. because he's going to come into a situation, and I know he did before too, but he's going to come into a situation where he doesn't have his players, and I really think the way the fan base is now is that they want it to turn around fast, and that's not going to happen with Pochettino. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for his system to bed in, and and it's not going to be that system that we saw him with at the end of his tenure with Spurs, right? It's not. He's not going to be running that diamond. He's not going to be running. Probably not going to be running a Wink Sissoko style double pivot. He's going to
also had. I mean, he had a generational two generational talents in Son and Kane blossoming at the same time.
Oh, and then he had
Dele Alli, that was, before some of the mental health stuff kicked in for him, was looking like he was going to be potentially a future England captain. And you had probably our best defensive pairing, if not one of our best defensive
with Toby and Jan. I mean,
in the history of our club.
Like in the early days, he had Musa. Moussa Dembele, and then he had like fucking dude, Danny Rose and Kyle Walker.
He had what's his name?
Wanyama.
I was gonna say Wembanyama. It was Wanyama. He had Pasta guy.
So there were a lot of players. We had a young Kieran Trippier. Like there were players.
You had an exciting Winks. You had an exciting Sissoko. You had a lot, and then you threw in Lucas Moura, who was Florando Llorente, who get like these guys that were just good players that were ready to step on, and we have great players right now that, like you said before, are not used to being told what to do from a guy that's probably not going to take their shit. And I think we just need to invest more in the club, which I know we could probably talk a little more after when we shift over to Big Ange, but
yeah, I just think that like with this new manager coming in, he's done everything in terms of keeping teams up or bringing teams back to where they need to be. Verona, he turned them into like this chaotic pressing machine. Marseille, I mean, again, high press. Like he runs a high press and he demands a lot out of those forward players,
which our guys
in that man-to-man type press, which really suits Solanke's skill set, I believe. And I think that a guy like Tel and a guy like Xavi will really benefit from that too.
Yeah,
Xavi's become super, super busy.
I know everybody's excited for like Kulusevski to come back and like looking at our squad like when Kudus comes back. When Xavi and Madison get the opportunity to play together in a midfield, I pity the fucking defenders that are going to have to deal with those two just dropping dimes to the wingers and also ripping shots from the 18-yard line that Xavi's actually started getting the confidence to just start letting them fly a little bit. But yes,
no, it's true. And you'll be able to have Xavi, once Kulusevski comes back, if he does come back soon. Madison's been on the pitch working out. I mean, things are moving and things are happening. I don't want to bring guys back too soon, especially in the situation we're in right now. So, I mean, if we're hovering around that 16th, 17th place and there's a relegation battle, I don't want to bring them in and possibly get them injured again. I mean, there's no reason for it, especially if we find ourselves being safe, Yeah,
if we find ourselves being in a position where it's like, 6 points guarantees us Conference League, bring them back.
Right. But on the other side, if 6 points, keeps you from relegation, I
bring one of them back.
Bring one of them back. But if you have a midfield of Kulusevski, Xavi, or Madison, and you can throw Xavi out on the wing, you know. And
Oh,
then then you have depth on the wing because Xavi can play on that left wing. You have Tell who can play out there. You have Odebear's gone for the season, but like you have Tell that can play out there.
Kudus will be
You
back.
have Koulibaly who can. Kudus will be back. Like we don't know when, but like my guess is sometime early spring.
Yeah.
But like I do think that like a lot of these players that we have really suit this style that's high pressing chaos type style
Yeah.
that Tudor likes to play with. The other piece of it is that like the wing backs that he plays with are generally super aggressive, and I think that's how Stella is going to get her groove back with Pedro Porro too, because
Yeah.
like that's his wheelhouse. I think that will really suit Jed Spence. That's kind of his wheelhouse. Neither one of them being big defenders, but they are willing to take a guy on.
Yeah. I think he's the perfect appointment for what we need right now. I would be a little worried if they're like, here's a 3-year contract to the guy.
Right. I'm glad they didn't, but so the other piece too is like he needs really athletic center backs, which we have. We have Mickey Van de Ven, who's the fastest man on the fucking planet. You have Christian Romero, who yes is a head case, but I think his rigid kind of authoritarian type style of coaching won't allow for him to be a fucking lunatic. But you need guys who are also going to be comfortable defending wide because they're going to have to cover for those wing backs too. Yeah. So
Dragerson's coming into his own as well. I hope he sticks around.
I hope so. I honestly don't think Dragerson is meant for the Premier League anymore, but I mean, I really hoped for him, and I just don't think he can handle the pace and the speed and the physicality of it.
He would probably blossom in the Bundesliga or Serie A.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he's with that said, I think good God, what's his name? The dude we got from Bayern.
Oh, Paulinho?
No, oh, he's great. But I forgot who else maybe not Bayern, but the I'm drawing a blank. I'm drawing a blank on our other center back.
Kevin Danso?
Danzo, he's been great too.
Yeah, Danzo's out for the season too with the toe.
Yeah, but he's been good, and I'm excited for our loanee to come back, which hopefully he'll come back next year. And
yeah, I don't know about Vuskovic. Like I think that if we sell Romero in the summer, Vuskovic has to come back in. Otherwise, yes. I think he needs another season in the Bundesliga. He wants to play next to his brother, who's coming back from like a fucking 35-year ban in Hamburg. And say what you want about the history of that club. I think they've done very, very well for Vuskovic. And he's done very, very well for them. And I really applaud that club. And, I mean, they were an adopted Bundesliga club for me about 4 years ago when they're constantly having those battles trying to get back up to Bundesliga. Just based on the pure fact that I got a mystery kit.
That is pretty cool.
So like that I needed a German kit, so I asked for a German kit and they sent me the Hamburg kit, which again, I'm not going to talk about the history of that club or the history of their supporters group, but I think that club has done very, very well by another former Spurs player too. So I mean, and speaking of fascist clubs, our new coached at Lazio. Super short tenured there, but another successful season or stint there, right? So I guess the question remains is are Spurs structured to handle this high intensity kind of personality, the high intensity kind of game that he's gonna bring? Because if there's any misalignment at all between the recruitment of this manager by the leaders at the club and the manager himself and the players, then this isn't going to last long, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And he could get run out of town as fast as fucking Christian Stellini. So it says to me that we we need intensity, aggression, and some sort of tactical identity, because that's what we didn't see out of Frank. We never saw anything come to fruition. They were constantly training to play against the opponent that they were playing against versus employing a system. And it just never took off because the players never knew what the fuck they were doing. So, I mean, in your mind, was this a good appointment? And do you think it's going to work?
Yeah, like I said, I think this was the best possible appointment we could have had for the situation we're in at the time of year that we're doing it too. I think had he come in and if we had sacked Frank in, I don't know, end of October, early November, I would have probably been like, why'd you bring him here? With that said, I think we'll be fine. I don't think we're getting relegated. I think we are. I think part of why the volume of Spurs can get relegated and whatnot is calm the fuck down. We're not getting relegated. No. And
What percentage would you think? If that you're sure that we're not getting relegated?
I'm 99.9% sure we're not getting relegated.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
we're not getting relegated.
That gives me a little bit of, it makes me feel a little bit better.
We're not getting relegated. And I'm that 0.1 or whatever it is because half our team could get injured tomorrow again or next week against Arsenal, and then we're just fucked. So, I think I think this will work out fine. I still think we're going to finish in the top half of the league, which I think we will. I think we'll finish in the top 10. I think we could even possibly challenge for, I think we'll probably get the 5th Champions League spot, which could then open up another to the 8th.
You think we're getting the 5th Champions League spot this year?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
The whole fucking league is still in Europe.
That's weird.
It's based on your European performance, not based on your domestic performance. So the 5th spot would not go to Spurs, would go to the Premier League, given that all 6 Champions League teams from the Premier League.
We're sitting in 16th right now, and you think Spurs are going to have a chance at 5th?
No, I think Spurs are going to have a chance at 8th.
Oh, so there's a chance we can get into Europe.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were saying next year we could get into Europe, which honestly, for us, playing in the Conference League and then trying to win that motherfucker could be a good thing for us next year because we're not a Champions League team right now. Even though
here's another question then, because Champions League is starting back up tomorrow with the playoff, right?
Correct.
So teams could get bounced out of that playoff pretty easily. Big teams get bounced out of that playoff pretty easily.
Yeah, I think Madrid's
one bad performance, and you could be fucked. You could be fucked right out of the playoff. Right out of the Champions League.
We got a pretty favorable draw of who we might get.
Team like PSG, right? Yeah, we have a pretty favorable draw. Team like PSG could get fucking knocked right out. You never know what can happen. And I think they are playing Jose Mourinho's side, but
which is gorgeous and beautiful. No, Madrid's playing Mourinho.
Oh, Madrid is right. Okay,
which is even more beautiful.
Yes. Anyway, yeah. So anybody can be bounced out of that, right? Especially one of the big teams. So I want to see how he's going to be able to handle this squad in Europe and because I don't know if that's necessarily something that he's done before.
Yeah.
had to manage a squad with as many injuries and as many questions questions in the squad and with depth, you know, and having to manage that on the domestic side and the European side, especially since we're sitting there in fourth in the Champions League right now.
Yeah, no,
For-
we're almost like heavyweights in Europe, and now in the Premier League, we're like we look pretty wimpy.
Well, I mean, that really does speak to the actual, um, it speaks to the actual like pedigree of the Premier League, right? At this moment, right? Um, but I'm just curious to see how it works out for him, and knowing so little about him, I think it'll become very apparent to us.
Yeah.
Very apparent to us the second that ball kicks off against the Gooners.
Which, I mean, it would be really great. I think it would be such a morale boost if we even draw with Arsenal.
I think we can beat them.
I think we can beat them too. I mean, they're a beatable team for sure.
I think they're probably one of the worst first place teams in the Premier League era.
Oh yeah,
they're fucking terribly boring to watch. They score. I think I saw a graphic the other day. It was they just drew with Brentford, but if they're stopped on the field, or if they're stopped on set pieces, then they can be stopped on the field. And
I think they're the highest scoring set piece team in like the league, right?
No, yeah, I saw a graphic the other day that of their 86 goals or something that they scored, 64 of them were from fucking corner kicks or from set pieces, and that's including Europe, I believe.
Well, that's because they pushed the goalkeeper into the fucking goal. But yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah. They crowd out the fucking goalkeeper so he can't make a play on the ball, which that is another one of those type of tactics in sport that needs to be fucking banned.
Well, they've talked about trying to review it because so many keepers have been complaining that they're like, I can't even get my hands up because people like.
Well, right, no, and it's true. I mean, it's the same exact thing. Like it's indefensible. You cannot defend that type of a corner. And bravo to them for doing whatever they did to bend the rules or to break the rules to be able to do it, or to use the system that's in place to be able to do that, just like the Philadelphia Eagles have done with the tush push, right? And the way that they run that. And that's an illegal play. 90% of the time it's an illegal play. But it's not called because they play within the margins of the rule. That those guys are always moving. The whole offensive line is always moving before the ball is snapped. But all right. So I think it's going to be time for me to drink a beer, because I did it on the last one, but not the one where it was just me. And so I think, I need to get into my fridge here if you want to ask a question.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of questions, especially what size fridge you have. But really, Mike, what you drinking?
The fridge it's a small fridge. It's a dorm fridge. It's got a little tiny freezer on top of it. Three shelves. Three shelves. It's got the bottom shelf, a small middle shelf for 12-ounce cans.
Got any stickers on it?
Not on this one. On the outdoor fridge, I have stickers. I have a shitload of stickers. So yeah, I got this Kolsch today. It's a German Kolsch. Beer.
I love a Kolsch.
Yeah, dude. It's. I'm gonna look up how to pronounce this. Gaffel, I guess. Gaffel Kolsch. Been brewed since 1908. It's a traditional Kolsch. It's not a Kolsch style. It is an actual Kolsch beer brewed in Cologne. in Cologne, Germany. And yeah, man, I just saw it and I said I have to get this. It comes in like a kind of a tall, slim can.
That is lovely.
Yeah, it's taller than it's 1.9 ounces, and you cannot redeem this can in Vermont.
Oh,
It says it right on the can. It says real Kolsch only when it's from Cologne.
Von Traps is not
Yes.
real then.
So top fermented ale. That's cold conditioned. I think we've talked about this. It's cold conditioned like a lager. It's
Mm.
not an actual lager. It doesn't use lager yeast. It uses ale yeast. So top fermented, which means it eats the yeast eats the sugars in the beer from the
Okay.
top down, and as it's doing it, it's dropping all the sediment and shit to the bottom,
Ooh.
which leaves the beer crisp and clean. And ooh boy, this is nice. Nice soapy head on it. 4.8% alcohol, which means it's super sessionable. These beers have usually like a really light floral kind of scent to them.
I love that.
Yeah. The floral, sometimes you get apple, pear, like that kind of a thing.
Mm.
Super like sweet, very little hop bitterness. It's got usually really good carbonation. And it's a classic lawnmower beer, man. It's really one of those beer that's almost like designed to drink like more than one.
Yeah. You never just have one Kolsch.
No. And I put it in a nice Stange glass, my black flannel Stange glass that cost me $22.
I don't have one of those. I have a different one from Black Flannel.
Yeah. They made a Kolsch one time that was a Kolsch style, I should say, that was fine.
Ooh.
There. And I'm gonna get a lot of this in my mustache right now, but
Love it.
cheers.
What are we thinking?
Holy shit. I think I've said this many a time on this podcast. Kolsch is my favorite style of beer.
It's the best kind.
Yeah, dude, it's the sweetness, and it's like it is super refreshing.
It is,
especially on a really hot day. This beer is really fucking good. It kicks the fucking pants off of any American style Kolsch. And it's probably because it's brewed in Germany. But you know, it's kind of like pilsners and stouts that are brewed over here, like from the microbreweries and shit. Like they never really come off the same way that like you get like a good pilsner or stout like from Europe. It's the same type of a way, man.
Take another sip. Let me see your reaction, and then I'm going to give you a rating.
All right, let's fucking do that.
Let's do that. Yeah. All right, so this is out of 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've had a run of really good beers too, so
yeah.
This one's no exception, man. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I got the vibe that you're really loving it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I sent in my Wicked Crew chat my thinking.
All right, I'm gonna go 4.3 on this one.
Damn it!
What'd you guess,
dude? I wrote 4.4, and then I got rid of it, and I went 4.6 when you're like, "This is gonna be a great one." So I was like, "Oh, that means he really loves it."
Yeah, man. This beer is fucking good, man.
Damn, I'll get it again one of these days.
Oh, they use hop extract.
Ooh.
Interesting. Yeah, I have until 7/2/26 to drink it. So,
ooh, What was the tariff on that bad, Larry?
I don't know what it was, but there's metal, so there's got to be some sort of tariff.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're putting on German goods, and the importation of German goods. I'm not really sure what we're putting on it, but yeah, man. And you know what? This is an old brewery who's it seems like they've done very, very well. Oh, it's imported by Total Beverage Solution in South Carolina. But it seems that they've done a really good job of kind of like living into the now. They got Facebook and Instagram on their cans. It's a really nice can, actually. Nice cans. Anyway, yeah, this has been Hey Mike. And
I love it.
Gaffel Kolsch. An actual real Kolsch. So
sweet, man.
On the other side of that, I am drinking. I also was drinking.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
So when I was at the bevy, I saw this Kolsch, and then
I walked place in Winooski.
No, it was actually the bevy in St. Albans.
Oh.
Yeah, the Indian couple that bought it.
Nice.
They're super nice. They're super nice people, and it definitely beats out the jokers who owned it previously. Used to smoke cigarettes inside. And
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah. So this has been Hey Mike, what you drinking?
I love it.
Yeah. So let's move on. Let's talk about this Ange interview. Because a few things kind of happened, right? And I don't necessarily know like how to feel about it, because in the beginning, I was pretty excited. So like the day before we get the little plug from the podcast or the show about, oh, we have Ange here. We record 2 shows in a day. Oh, big behind the scenes type of a thing. And then they had the very dramatic music of Ange coming in, and then they're all laughing. And you know, and typically these guys, what they do whenever Spurs are mentioned is that what happens is that we're made fun of. The team is made fun of, the club is made fun of by all these members of the panel. There's not an objective guy on that fucking panel.
No, whole panel fucking hates Spurs.
Yeah, right. So
even when we won a trophy, they were still shitting on us, and we beat half of those guys' team.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, when you're looking at it, I mean, not right, but obviously not Ian Wright, but because they were playing in Champions League, but anyway, and choking the league away. So this is kind of it created ripples across the football world and across the Tottenham world, and it was just another one of those things that made us look like a bunch of fucking idiots. And like, why do we support this club? But there are a lot of big claims in this coming from Ange, and a lot of like behind the scenes look at what he experienced, but also I think there was a lot of opinion about what was going on from Ange, rather than fact, because he mentioned a number of times that he never really interacted with the ownership and that kind of thing, so he didn't know exactly what was going on. But let's just straight off start by like reminding everybody of the context behind this and the timing, which was Frank getting fired, right? Postecoglou was coming on, and I don't necessarily believe that maybe a lot of that interview was going to be talking about why managers can't stay at Spurs, but you know, they started off by talking about the league and why he finished 17th and what ultimately led to his departure. But the problem for me was that Ange didn't really kind of hold back. Like he gave his opinions and he talked about what he experienced from his side. And
Yeah, it's hard like he's been such a good sport about it all. Like he's been quiet. He even went and got a new job. Like
a
he
couple of new
went,
jobs.
yeah, no, one new job for
One.
Forrest, right? With
Forrest, right?
that job owner. You know, he never really badmouthed Spurs. So part of me is like, Frank getting fired was almost like in a way like a little bit of a vindication for him and like a win of like, fucking told you it wasn't me. Like, and it's not the good players entirely either, but part of the issue is like, I mean, he was just saying the quiet shit out loud that we all kind of know about the ownership group and whether it was Levy, who it sounds like didn't actually want to get rid of Ange. But it was the Lewis kids and Lewis and some of the other board members that they want to be a Big Six club and they want to be this incredible challenger for titles. But, you know, we only want to pay championship salaries. And
No, right. I mean, that's what he said. Like his exact quote was like, they want to be a big, they purport to be a big club. But when you look at he says right here, you look at their expenditure and particularly their wage structure, they're not a big club. And he says
he's right.
he says they, which hurts.
Well, he's not us
And he
anymore.
talked about wanting to sign like Semenyo and Mbumo and Pedro Neto and Gahey and that kind of thing, but they weren't in a position to secure them. But I mean, at the time and at the same time, we were being told that they had this big war chest, and right. But yes, you might have that war chest to buy these players and offer the clubs the money, but you have to also convince the player. Right?
Yeah.
And what he was talking about was that when you have to convince the player, you have to convince the player by wages. And in looking at it that way and looking at it in the way that he was talking about it, to me, that really said that he was trying to get those players, but they wouldn't pay.
Yeah.
Like you said, championship wages, which looking at it now and looking back at it, if we had wanted Eze, we had Eze.
Yeah, we did. I think I said that in
his
our
heart wasn't set on Arsenal. He's not even fucking hardly playing there. He's barely getting into the club, into the team now because of injuries. If there weren't injuries, he wouldn't be playing.
But it was because they offered more money every week.
They just offered him more money in wages. We probably offered him fucking piddly wages because
we were probably like, we'll do 150 a week, match James Madison, and Arsenal were like, we'll just give you 175, 200 that you want, whatever. And
they're not going to pay Madison. They're not going to pay Madison wages. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him Romero wages.
No, and
so
I'm surprised we held on to Kane and Son as long as we fucking did, given the wage structure that we have here. I mean, we've said that for you. Like, what's interesting because you look at it from a wage perspective, but also like you bring up like the war chest, but like you look at financial fair play and the sustainability rules that they have for financial sustainability. Spurs are one of the few teams, and I have a couple Arsenal buddies I talked to about this, and they're like, we wish we had the financial security that Spurs have because of our stadium and all the other revenue streams, that we could buy a player for 100 million pounds. We have the money. We just don't want to do it because we feel like we can get them for less. When if you want to be the big club, you got to realize like there's the Premier League tax on players, but then there's the Big Six club tax on top of the Premier League tax. So if you want the best player, you want Semenyo, pony up the money. Man City didn't negotiate. They said, okay, Bournemouth, here's your fucking money. Give me him. Give me what I want.
Do you think that like when we go out and we're buying players, we end up with guys these young players that we're getting on the cheap? You get a Dom Sling, you get an RG Gray, like Ange had mentioned,
Yeah.
instead of getting the Mbumos and the Gahys and of the world.
Yeah.
Do you think that like, because he essentially said that the Spurs want to be a big club in their narrative and their infrastructure and all that shit, but they don't act like one in the market. So whether you agree like that this is a cultural critique of like the long-term strategy of the club being its self-image, right?
Yeah.
Whether you agree or disagree with that, we're not going out and buying players. We're trying to buy players on the cheap, and that in the end is bad. But do you think that like because of the successes of getting somebody like Asan for pretty cheap, bringing up Harry Kane through the academy, having that luck, getting Delhi for so cheap, do you think that like when they actually did go out there and spend some money on
and Ndombele, Lo Celso,
Ndombele, right? They got a Lucas Moura. They got Lucas Moura for super cheap, and he was flying at PSG at the time, right? But they go out and they get in Ndombele, and then they have the Lo Celso issue. Like those guys are the Davinson Sanchez money that they spent. Do you think that they get a little gun shy? I mean, I'm not trying to give them excuses, but at the same time, like we have to like play devil's advocate a little bit and say, do you think that they get a little gun shy because they didn't just pay a lot for Ndombele, they gave him fucking big wages, right? And he just got fat and didn't perform.
Yeah,
like
I mean, he's the reason they couldn't have any catch up.
He couldn't compete immediately in England, and then he just gave up.
Yeah, and I think some of that is also like that's that dude's work ethic, which I think was something they even said, like, he's lazy, but he's got God touched his feet somehow when he was born. But when you're also changing managers left and right, like I think of one of the things about Spurs that, we obviously, we had Harry Kane come through the ranks, and other than him and like Winks and Skip, you can't really think of too many other academy players that have come in and like broke through into the first team.
Not Troy Parrott.
And that's it. Like Troy Parrott's another great example. I was actually thinking about him when you were talking before about imagine. So the one thing that's never talked about with clubs is like, and we've talked about it here because we've talked about youth development, particularly with like Europe versus USA, and I think the club scene. But like a manager that you bring in and they bring in their coaches, you're not just getting the first team coach, you're getting your youth development program. And the mindset that is trying to build into, creating players that can fit our values, fit the mission and vision of the club. And when you've got 6 fucking different visions in the span of 4 years, and you've got these young players that are like, professionals like Romero and Son, they're going to adapt whether or not. And they're also, you bring in a coach to manage those players, not grow those players.
Right.
When you're trying to also grow players to then sell them or break them into the first team, like a guy like Parrott, who, right, like Dublin renamed their fucking airport after him. Like I think that was like a publicity something, but either way, like when you've got these young guys that you're signing, like I think like, Ange says they signed these teenagers because we're also building a team that will compete for the next few years. You just got his players that were 17, 18 that could fit theoretically, and he's gone, as well as his youth coaches and the staff that he was working with. So like I think this is why I go back to all the time. Like, I know y'all give me a lot of shit for it, but like I was and will always be an Ange in guy. Like, I think that as we're learning more about the club and we're seeing like the kind of the veil get pulled down a little bit, on the inner workings of the offices there, that we should have stuck with the guy who won us our first bit of silverware in a long time, who the players adored, and just given him a little bit extra time to just like this whole year to see what he could have done and built and the culture and see if we could have kept the train going, regardless of finishing 17th last year. Because I think and I also think we're still recovering from the poach years of not buying players for how many transfer windows was it? 2 or 3, or even like 2 or 3 full transfer windows without a single purchase or sale. Like, that's not good. And that has repercussions, 5-6 years down the road, when you've missed out on opportunities to buy players and then sell them for a gain or whatever. I think Ange said the quiet stuff out loud. Part of you thinks like, man, maybe you shouldn't just shit all over us because we're already feeling shitty and a lot of us miss you. And now you're like, damn, I miss you, but that was mean, but also true. Like, it's like someone like your family member who's like, you're happy to see for a long time. And they're like, you gained weight. It's like, I was happy.
No, yeah,
it's like
it's like a stepdad leaving and then talking shit about his talking shit about his stepchildren on Facebook.
Or I think like when my family comes to visit and they bring fucking like snacks and cookies and shit, and they're like, "Not for you. You don't need more snacks and cookies." I was like, "But I was so happy. I was so happy to see the cookies." They're like, "You need
Christ
to like
almighty.
find your treadmill, fat boy." And I'm like, "God damn, give me grandkids." Like, we'll unpack that another time. But man, I think Ange was just saying all the shit that all of us thought for the longest time. It was almost sort of validating in a way. But I do hope that, whoever we appoint after Igor, is somebody that the management will actually back and we'll just see out the vision. Because as much as I fucking can't stand Arteta and Arsenal and their bullshit, they gave him time. And he was not a proven manager, but they gave him time. But to his credit, he did what Frank never did, which was he connected with the fans. And for better or worse, because
the fucking fans hated him. Shut up. Come on.
The fans
fucking hated him.
The fans
wanted him out.
They did want him out. However, he wasn't out there saying some of the things that Frank was saying about the club. And I was another, I thought it was going to take him a while I was a little shocked he got fired, but at the same time, because the club was so like, oh, we're going to buy into this, we're going to see it out. We're going to build something. We know we're rebuilding right now. And then, oh, by the way, get out. And, but I think whoever they bring in needs to have a personality. Poch had Pochettino, who personally I don't want him to come back because, like you said, I don't want him to ruin the legacy. And as much as I'd love to see him back, I also don't want to see him back. But I also think like Ange had this larger than life personality that people gravitated towards how he talked, he
was great in the media room, man.
He was like, it was so fun to watch him in the media room and to hear what he was saying. And you never heard him talk shit about the players and the coaches or anybody. It was, if they lost, he owned it and it was on him. And it was so different from Conte, who was like, we suck and they're all fat. And then Jose, who actually didn't bash the club while he was there, owned a lot of it, just wished that he had some more investment to get what he wanted. And you're like,
I didn't, dude. I think Jose got a raw deal. Jose got a raw deal.
I think Jose would have delivered us our first bit of silverware because Jose knew how to win, and we had already beaten City twice that year. And
he got fucking fired on the eve of a fucking final, man.
And yep, I think Jose would have
gotten no chance of winning that final after that.
No, I thought Jose was going to get, and we only lost 1-0. I think Jose would have gotten us over the line. And, I think so. We're an interesting club that's in some ways a little too corporate. I think we're, which is a weird thing to say because it's kind of, as you look at all the other neighboring clubs that are growing and getting bigger, and it's becoming more Americanized with how we treat our sports franchises. And demanding immediate success from a team that just got the first fucking draft pick in like the NFL or the NBA. So I definitely I was not hurt by what Ange said, but it was validating. It made me miss him because I love hearing his little, his Australian voice. I love the mates. I miss them. But it definitely left a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth with ownership more than I had before he spoke. Because a lot of it was like, well, that could be what they're doing. And he was like, nope, I fucking tried. These were the players. Imagine how good we'd be this year. But the owners didn't want to pay them the salaries they wanted. And I mean, it's like offering $100 million. It's like, Shohei Ohtani and you're like the Dodgers, or you're Cincinnati and you're like, so we could offer you like a bus pass or like really good health care over in Cleveland at the Cleveland Clinic. But you got a high deductible, but we could probably pay you like $200 million over like 40 years, not $1 billion over 10. And he's like, no, man, like I'm going to fucking LA.
Well, yeah. LA is going to be fucked in a number of years because of that deal. Because
oh yeah, absolutely.
Because he deferred most of that money.
Because they all deferred all the money in LA. That's how they get away.
So like one day when he blows his knee out, like,
oh yeah, they're gonna be paying him
and the thing that sucks is that like Todd Bowley is going to walk away from that club and from Chelsea, and leave the new owners holding the fucking bag for the way that he and his financial team operate,
And he's going to walk away with even more money for himself.
Oh yeah. No, he's going to make a lot of profit on and he's going to make profit for his partners, and he's going to leave guys like the minority owners like Magic Johnson fucking holding the fucking bag,
I mean, I got to imagine for some of those deals, even some of the deals that they've signed some players for, there's got to be some insurance clause that if they break or shatter their leg or something that like triggers some form of a buyout that gets them. Either way, though, it's still fucking because he started to employ it with Chelsea too, where you're signing unproven talent for hundreds of millions of dollars.
And it's just so someone else can't get them.
That is what it is. Like, I'm buying them so that you can't have them. They don't make any sense for
whereas
us.
in Major League Baseball, they're kind of cooking the books a little bit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how the fuck do they sign all these players every year? But
I also think
that's a whole other podcast. I think
it's a whole other podcast. Then I think just for me with all the buying and selling and the shit with Spurs is that like, we were pretty upset with the window this past January and not getting a whole lot of players in. But what I did read somewhere with, I think it was BBC Sports had it, that like this was the quietest transfer window since like the COVID year.
Yeah.
And like one of the quietest in the last 20 years for all of Europe. So like teams are not spending right now, which is almost like kind of like reflecting on like us as people in America, not spending money because everything sucks. But
they don't want to be the next Juve. They don't want 115 charges hanging over their head like Man City.
Yeah. And
they
I think
that's take a chance of they don't want to take a chance of actually being fucking criminals for spending too much money or that they didn't make through sport.
Which is a challenging thing for folks in clubs to do, and people aren't buying tickets and they're not coming to matches and they're not buying as many jerseys. And that's the other thing with Spurs. You got to imagine their fucking jersey sales and ticket sales have plummeted a bit since Son left, whereas in LA is like printing money.
Dude, yeah. Do you see that new kit?
Yeah, it's fucking great.
It's fucking beautiful with the Son and Korean in the back.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want two of them.
You can't get them because they sold out. But
I know, but they're so nice.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, we probably got some more to talk about, and maybe we'll do a little midweek sesh too. Who
I
knows?
think it's amazing that we talked so much and in depth about Spurs, and it was just us.
It was just us, and you know it's over an hour,
Dude, I love it.
and we didn't even really have to listen to Steve.
No, it was so great. Would have been nice to see
Steve.
Brian.
I'm calling Steve out. I'm calling him out right now.
Would have been nice to see Brian. You know, Grandpa Dave would have been great too.
Yeah, Grandpa doesn't show up anymore though.
Like any grandpa, any good grandpa.
Yeah. Every once in a while, he likes to visit his kids, but you know, it's just not.
Yeah, it's more like the couch and like, you know what? It's the Masters. I'm just gonna sit here and fall asleep.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I've been sitting at home all day watching the Olympics. I'm gonna watch the replays of the shit that I watched during the day.
Yeah, I gotta watch that other.
Oh, look, it's 10 p.m. The U.S. women are dominating in hockey, just like they did this afternoon.
Yeah. Oh, they're playing again?
Well, no. Well, I don't know if they're on again, but
Oh, it's like they're playing 2 games a day.
it's like all this shit that like was. So we have it in my office right now. We have it playing. We have the Olympics playing on 2 different computers.
Yeah.
And it's like all the different sports because we have Peacock, right? So it's like all the different sports are all going on 2 different computers in the office at all times.
Love that.
So we can watch curling, we can watch hockey, we can watch ski jumping, like.
And you can get the multicast on a few of those. So you get like 8 things
biathlon.
going. Yeah.
So like we're kind of watching it all today as we're like in and out of the office going to do x-rays and stuff. So it's been pretty fun watching the Olympics, but all that shit gets recapped in the prime time for the people who are at work all day, not able to watch it.
True. We should next podcast do an Olympic themed podcast where we talk more about the various sports and highlights of the Olympics, since Spurs wouldn't have played by the time we meet again. Well, maybe no, they would, right?
They will have. We got Gooners.
Oh yeah. Well, depending on how that goes.
Yeah, hopefully by then the U.S. women will have won. Will have beaten Canada.
You can only hope.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, maybe we'll do a little midweek thingy. Who knows?
Olympics.
Who knows? Give Brian a shot to come on and give his thoughts on stuff. It is fucking cold in my basement. I just want you to know.
Oh yeah, I'm like perfectly cozy. I think it's 70 degrees down here. It's nice.
Yeah, so just want to let everybody know we are the Wicked Spursy podcast. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Blue Sky. I'm starting to post on that shit again, so that's good. I've got a little bit of bandwidth that I'm gonna use up promoting all 3 of my podcasts that I do. We have again Vermont Greens coming up, the first batch of US Open lottery ticket sales have come out. So if you got them, if you've put in for the lottery and you've received tickets, good for you. We'll see you on March 17th. But outside of that, we are the Wicked Spursy podcast. We're on both of those systems. We're not on Elon's hate machine anymore, so don't look for us there unless if you're gonna go and help us out and post somewhere. You want to post our podcast wherever you want to post it, go ahead. We're just a bunch of fun-loving guys who like to talk Spurs, and we're not doing this for any kind of plaudits or any kind of money or any kind of financial anything. We're just here to chat and have a good time, and have a good conversation between friends. So until next time, as Steve would say, don't be an asshole. He'd also say quiz. Nikki Winks, do you have anything to say before we leave? Got any words of wisdom?
Oh man, I don't have a whole lot. I think just be kind, be good. Like Steve would say, don't be an asshole. And come on, you Spurs. And I hope you guys have a really great rest of the week. Also, watch Knights of the Seven Kingdom because it's amazing.
That's a great show. Also, I always do like to remind everybody that like just if the world is crazy out there, just go and talk to your neighbors. Just have a conversation. If they're a MAGA dickhead, tell them they're a MAGA dickhead and explain why. Explain why it's not okay. Other than that, I want you to also, while you're talking to that MAGA dickhead, be very safe, and protect your mental health at all costs. Oh yeah, one more thing. Up the fucking Spurs.
Up the